So I had to put my pearls on for this next story. So this woman right here, Brianna Cooper, had an OnlyFans page and she was suspended because of it. She went ahead and resigned. Now, this story was published October 11th. This started happening last month. So before I talk to you about what happened, what's going on right now, let's talk about what happened. Brianna Kopich, that's this woman. She was a teacher at St. Clair High School. She's been placed on administrative leave after district officials became aware of her account on OnlyFans. Brianna Kopich of Sullivan, who taught in the Communication Arts Department since last August, told the Missourian that she believes she was fired because of the attention that she received. So she maintains that she kept her two jobs completely separate. She said that she used only fake names online and only showed her face to paying subscribers. She said she doesn't know how her true identity was revealed, if, as she suspects, one of her subscribers copied or recorded her media from OnlyFans, it would be a violation. The policy that prohibits distribution of creators' material without their consent. She said that students and former students found her pages, posting her real name and where she worked on social media. She was then approached by school administrators who inquired how long she has been making content for OnlyFans, how recently she posted on the page, and whether she ever created corn content in the school, which she denied. Okay, so apparently Brianna was using this to supplement her teaching salary. But she was like, all right, since y'all gonna place me on administrative leave, I'm just gonna resign. Okay, so it wasn't that Brianna was asked to resign. She decided to do that on her own. And according to this, it says officials took all possible steps to ensure confidentiality after her pages were discovered through social media posts. They said an employee may have posted inappropriate media on one or more internet sites. So she joined the site over the summer to supplement her income. She's working in Missouri, which has one of the lowest starting salaries. She was making $42,000 in Missouri a year. Remember, she is a second-year teacher. She's not making much money. She said that she earns up to $10,000 a month on her website. And that was before the news story broke. Okay, so in the days that followed, her account gained more than 100 new subscribers, and she more than doubled her subscription price. She said at the time of her suspension that she would continue to post on the site. She says, I do not regret joining OnlyFans. I know it can be taboo, or some people may believe it is shameful, but I don't think sex work has to be shameful. I do just wish things had happened in a different way. So this woman said, y'all gonna suspend me? I'm making $42,000 a year as a teacher working however many hours a day. So let's say 8 hours a day, plus they have to do game planning or, planning while they are at home and they are not being paid. And she said, put that up against $10,000 a month. And that was before the story broke. This woman is making bank. She said, you know what? I'm not going to go through all this. I'm out. Peace. So she said, all right, I'm going to head out. Now, I want to talk about the economics of why she did this and what this really means for society, especially as our country is facing so many teacher shortages. This is not what I planned to do, but I went ahead and created a graphic. 5 reasons a teacher might choose OF over teaching. Financial reasons. As that story said, this woman went from making $42,000 a year in a red state that is that is already one of the lowest paid professions across the board to making more than $10,000 a month. So there are financial reasons. Flexibility, work-life balance. Now, at school, you are dictated by an administration and you have these parents, you have the parent-teacher conference people, the PTA, you have people that are coming in like really gunning for teachers as far as politics. So this way you get the flexibility to just do what you want. You have work-life balance. When you are a teacher, Is there any balance? Because even after work, you're doing game planning. Now, I know that some people will take umbrage with number three, the whole freedom of expression and creativity, but there is that because you can, when you are a content creator, just you can take the OF part of it out. When you are a content creator, you can be who you want to be. You can put out the kind of content that you want to put out. You can do what you want. There is a lot of freedom in that. And that brings me to number four with the entrepreneurial opportunities. You can do what you want. So even if she didn't want to stay in this line, this OF, it is perfectly fine. She is a teacher. She can create content outside of that. There's opportunities abound, homeschooling, tutoring, whatever. I am a content creator and I am not making $10,000 a month. However, what I know of being a content creator, the money is available, opportunities are available, and it's limitless. Number five, less burnout and stress. Right now, we are facing a substantial teacher burnout and they are leaving the profession. There are teacher shortages all across the country. And so there is a reason for that. The parents are stressing these teachers out, administration, and the students. So when you get to work from home, whatever that job may be, you are experiencing less burnout and stress. You have flexibility, you got money making opportunities, and you are only limited by your own creativity. My next graphic, money reasons a teacher might choose to be an OnlyFans creator versus teaching. Now, for the sake of easy math, I made this example $48,000 a year versus $42,000 because it's just easier math. $48,000 a year is $4,000 a month. Now, when you think about a month, just think about like $1,000 a week. If you think about $1,000 a week, that's about $200 a day. $200 a day, if you are a teacher, about $200 a day. Now you have to think about that. If you are working 8 hours a week in the job, and then you have to, do your lesson plans, you have to spend money for supplies, you have to do all of that. You are literally making less than about $20 an hour as a teacher, some job that is supposed to be noble. But if you are choosing to be an OF content creator, and this woman said that she was making $10,000 a month before the story broke, that is a $120,000 a year. $10,000 a month, if you are working 5 days a week, is about $500 a day. And that's her low end because she just got started. $500 a day. You can work a few hours a day at home. We already talked about the flexibility to work from home. This is a no-brainer. Now, you can choose the kind of content that you put out. You do not have to be an OF content creator. You don't. But people have got to understand that folks are leaving the teaching profession because of burnout and stress. And if you do decide to leave and you look at these numbers, this is purely economics. I do recognize that to be an OF creator, there's going to be shame and, the double standards that go along with a woman choosing to do this. But this also goes into why people hate feminism. It's because women have too much choices, too many options to move around. And to be a teacher, you're expected to martyr yourself. You're expected to self-sacrifice, just like these tactics that they put on child-free mothers. That's the reason why all of this goes together. And that's the reason why I'm covering it today, because it all goes into women being expected to self-sacrifice for a bigger purpose, but they don't want to pay women. They want to continue to put all these restrictions on women, and women are having opportunities. That's the reason why so many people do not like what OF represents. And what it represents is women deciding to go their own way. Once you have more women going their own way and creating opportunities for themselves, society will have to decide, are you going to start valuing women for their work, or you're going to keep risking people walking away? This woman walked away without a fight. That speaks volumes. You guys jump in the comments and let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. When ousted Kevin McCarthy from his speakership. They had no game plan for what to do next. And now government is already bad and already moves slow. But now it's just a major cluster F, considering nothing is moving because you actually need a Speaker of the House to actually move things. So now we're talking about Jim Jordan, and he was unsuccessful in his first bid. He didn't have the votes. Jim Jordan has lost the first vote in his bid to become Speaker of the House after stiffer than expected opposition from members of his own party. Despite intense lobbying, 20 Republicans refused to vote for the right wing Ohio congressman. The Trump ally abandoned plans for another vote until Wednesday morning. Congress's lower chamber has no Speaker of the House since Kevin McCarthy was ousted more than 2 weeks ago now in a right wing revolt. Reveling in the Republican dysfunction, Democrats are depicting Mr. Jordan as an extremist. California's Pete Aguilar described him as a vocal election denier. California Democrat Nancy Pelosi, a two-time former speaker, told reporters Mr. Jordan had clearly underestimated resistance to him. They're not in agreement. There's no part. I don't know what's wrong with the Republicans. They just can't get their stuff together, basically. Republicans, she told reporters, were taking lessons on mathematics and how to count. In a news conference, Democratic Minority Leader Mr. Jeffries offered to work with Republicans to find a speaker that could suit both parties. There have been ongoing informal conversations that have been undertaken over the last few days. There's a possibility those can accelerate now that Jim Jordan clearly sees he's not going to get the votes for speaker. If support for Mr. Jordan collapses, the next potential speaker candidate is Minnesota's Tom Emmer, who's the third highest ranking Republican in the House. The last speaker, Mr. McCarthy, needed 15 rounds of voting over 4 days in January to get the gavel. Fierce resistance to Ukraine war funding among Republican hardliners, including Mr. Jordan himself, contributed to the unprecedented vote that led to Mr. McCarthy's ouster this month. The speakership is the second in line to the presidency after the vice president. So not having a Speaker of the House really impacts movement in Congress. So people are getting frustrated. We're in flux globally. There's so many wars going on. There's things going on nationally that we actually need money for. And so even Fox News is getting upset. So this one is titled "Fox News Reporter Caught Cursing Out Republicans for Speaker Drama." It appears that even Fox News is sick of Republican infighting. Fox News anchor Brian Kilmeade was caught fuming on a hot mic during the speaker vote on Tuesday, snubbing Representative Don Bacon as a dumb butt, you see the real word, after the Nebraska Republican voted against Jim Jordan. They are ready to get this thing moving. There are 16 Republicans who voted against Jim Jordan today on the floor, including 2 votes for somebody who's not even a member anymore. The frustration is palpable from a network that actively attempted to rally support behind Jordan. One of the station's highest rated anchors, Sean Hannity, was exposed over the weekend for conducting a pressure campaign against undecided party members in an attempt to push the Ohio Republican past the 217 vote. Meanwhile, moderates are beginning to question if the ultra-conservative Republican is the only option, openly floating the idea of keeping Speaker pro tempore Patrick McHenry in the position with expanded powers until November 17th, when government funding expires. These people simply had no game plan, and it's ridiculous. They brought this on themselves, and I really don't know what they were thinking was going to happen. Anyways, I'm going to play a video of reporters asking questions as Kevin McCarthy is walking away.
We don't have to be stuck on the floor. The interesting part is why we're here. Every single Democrat voted to stop one branch of government. They created this mess with 8 Republicans. Every single Democrat did that. And so I think what we'll do is we'll go sit down. We'll talk to those that have difference of opinion and come back.
Did the margin surprise you?
Thank you. Do you feel bad for Mr. Do you feel bad right now for Mr. Jordan? You threw your support for him. Do you feel bad for him?
No. Don't over read into this. This is about the same vote I had on first vote out. Why we're in the let's go back to how it got here. We wouldn't be here if every single Democrat didn't vote with 8 Republicans to shut this place down. That's it. No,
Republicans voted against Jim Jordan today on the floor, including 2 votes from somebody who's not even a member anymore.
every single Democrat and 8 Republicans voted to shut down one branch of government. That is why we're here today. There's no other reason why we're here today but because of that. Now we had a vote on the floor. It didn't get to the whole point. Now we'll take a break, talk to people, and come back and solve it.
So how long? Is this going to be today?
So this Trump trial is still, okay, one of 4 Trump trials is still marching on. And so this is what's going on in his civil case. Trump employee and appraiser testified against him in civil fraud trial. Donald Trump was back in the courtroom on Tuesday for his civil trial. An employee and an appraiser were testifying about his property values and what happened in his company. Incensed by a case that disputes his net worth and could strip him of such signature holdings as Trump Tower, the former president is due to testify later in this trial. That is going to be very interesting to watch. But he chose to attend the first 3 days and came back on Tuesday to observe and to protest his treatment to the news cameras waiting outside the Manhattan courtroom. Star witness Michael Cohen, a one-time Trump fixer, now turned foe, postponed his scheduled testimony because of a health problem. Instead, Trump company accountant Donna Kidder testified that she was told to make some assumptions favorable to the firm on internal financial spreadsheets. Outside appraiser Doug Larson said he didn't suggest or condone a former Trump organization comptroller's methods of valuing properties. It doesn't make sense, Larson said. The way ex-controller reached a $286 million value for a prominent Trump-owned retail space in 2013. Trump, outside the court, reiterated his insistence that he's done nothing wrong and that the New York Attorney General Letitia James lawsuit is a political vendetta designed to drag down his 2024 presidential campaign as he leads the Republican. We built a great company, lots of cash. It's got lots of great assets, some of the greatest real estate assets anywhere in the world, Trump said outside the courtroom. He dismissed the case as a disgrace, the legal system as corrupt, and the Democratic Attorney General as a radical lunatic. James's lawsuit alleges that Trump and his company deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overvaluing his assets and inflating his net worth on his financial statements. Trump may lie, but numbers don't lie, she said after court. He can call me names, he can engage in distractions, but his entire empire was built on nothing but lies and on sinking sand. And the funny thing is, so many of his supporters are his supporters because he's supposedly such a great businessman. And so they're not going to watch these videos where they're actually exposing his lies. It's funny, but this dude is a complete liar. And that is the reason why he never outed his financial statements and his tax returns, because it's all built on lies. Trump says his assets were actually undervalued and maintains that disclaimers on his financial statements amounted to telling banks and other recipients to check out his numbers themselves. Larson, a real estate agent, brokerage executive, and certified appraiser, assessed Trump properties for lenders. He was taken aback when told on the stand that he was repeatedly cited as an outside expert in former Trump organization controller Jeffrey McConney's valuation spreadsheets. It's inappropriate and inaccurate. I should have been told, and an appraisal should have been ordered. When it came to valuing a storefront formerly known as Niketown, McConney relied on rates of return for a different type of property rather than for a comparable retail space, Larson testified. He also said he appraised a Trump-owned Wall Street building at $450 million in 2015, while McConney valued it at $735 million on Trump's financial statements. That is close to $2 million difference. In cross-examining Larson, Trump lawyer Lazaro Fields asked whether anything prevents President Trump as a real estate developer from valuing his own properties. I don't know. I wouldn't know, Larson responded. Not that I know of. Kidder, the Trump company accountant, testified that as she filled out spreadsheets documenting the value of Trump-owned Wall Street office building, then finance chief Alan Weisselberg told her to act as if the skyscraper would be fully leased by a certain date, even if some of the space was currently vacant. For a Park Avenue residential tower, she was told to project that unsold units would all sell out for a certain time frame. Kidder says she wasn't aware that those assumptions would be used to improve Trump's bottom line on financial statements. That helped his company make deals and get financing and insurance. Trump lawyer Christopher Kise objected to what he deemed very granular testimony from Kidder, who also alluded to a prior Trump tangle with New York State lawyers. So, these people that are testifying against Trump are doing so because why would they go to jail, and why would they continue to have their name attached to doing these things? And they were doing things at the behest of Trump. This is going to continue to be something to watch. You guys jump in the comments and let me know what you think. Like, comment. This story is wild, or horrific, as The Guardian puts it. 189 bodies found and removed from Colorado Green Funeral Home. The remains of at least 189 decaying bodies were found and removed from a Colorado funeral home, up from 115 reported when the bodies were discovered 2 weeks ago. The remains were found by authorities responding to a report of a foul smell at the Return to Nature funeral home inside a decrepit building in the small town of Penrose, Colorado. Efforts to identify the remains began last week with the help from an FBI team that gets deployed to mass casualty events like airline crashes. Fremont Sheriff Alan Cooper described the scene as horrific. The discovery came after owners of the Return to Nature funeral home missed tax payments in recent months, got evicted from one of their properties, and sued for unpaid bills by a crematory that quit doing business with them almost a year ago. A day after the foul odor was reported, the director of the State Office of Funeral Home and Crematory Registration spoke on the phone with owner John Halford. He acknowledged having a problem at the Penrose site and claimed he practiced taxidermy there, according to an order from state officials dated October 5th. Authorities responding to an abhorrent smell entered the funeral home's neglected building with a search warrant on October 4th, and that's when it found the decomposing bodies. Attempts to reach Halford, his wife Carrie, and Return to Nature have been unsuccessful. Numerous text messages to the funeral home seeking comment have gone unanswered. No one answered the business phone or returned voice messages left Tuesday. The company, which